What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Snowcast Sports Talk Podcast, episode 62. Guys, we're going to be doing the official QB rankings here with none other than BertFerkins. Bert, we just did an ESO dungeon. You now had to listen to my intro. How you doing today?
Doing wonderful.
Thanks for being here, my friend. Thanks for being here. Do we want to start with the QB rankings? I almost feel like we start with it.
No, because it's going to get out of hand.
It's going to get... It is. Guys, this is Bert's first time being on the Snowcast, but I think there'll be many more podcasts to come in the future here. Bert, so you're a Celtics fan, you're a Giants fan. Do you want to quickly explain that for my chat, your chat, the podcast, how that fandom kind of works?
Yeah, for sure. I can definitely explain how that goes. So I'm a native of Connecticut. So growing up, this is also really stems back to my dad. So growing up, when he was a kid, like the only teams that they got on like TV were the Giants, the Celtics, and the Red Sox. So, because I mean, basically it's before the Patriots even existed.
Yep.
So you basically have, like Connecticut's like the Mason-Dixon line between New York sports and Boston sports. Yeah. And I literally live smack dab in the middle of Connecticut. So, and just the programming that my dad got when he was a kid, kind of just like a lot of my family is Patriots fans.
Same here.
I'm definitely not. So my grandfather and my uncle switched to be Patriots fans when they, when they became a team. My dad never switched, so
stuck with your dad.
Here we are.
I like it. One of the cool things about Bert too, I want to say, is Bert. I met him through the Elder Scrolls Online, but me and Bert have a ton of things in common. We're both ESO streamers, but then we both like the New York Giants, so we would always like kind of connect on Twitter. Sometimes Bert would console me in my drunkenness of like a big loss, like just recently. But and then Bert's also a big Celtics fan, as you can see. So, but let's start with just the Giants recap. I guess what were your thoughts on this season, and did it exceed expectations? Was it where you thought? Did you think we were going to do better? What were some of the takeaways?
I mean, I think like my biggest takeaway is like I definitely didn't think we were going to be better than we were. I was 4 wins is what I was expecting out of this team, and not because of coaching or anything. It's just like we had no talent last year, like not even last year, for years and years.
And we only lost
Daniel Jones. Yeah, Daniel Jones looked to be one of the biggest busts in our history.
Yep.
Drafting him at 5, he looked horrible. You didn't really know what Saquon was going to look like because just injuries and the offensive line. I mean, we had a guy that was, that we leaned on this year that had been out with an injury for, almost 2 full years. So like 400 something days, just might have been longer than that. It might have been almost 3 years with Nick Gates, being out with an injury. So, I mean, just the expectations going into the season were very, very low. Very low. I was expecting to pick top 5, like top 5, top 10 at the very lowest. So, pleasantly surprised, like from the first game of the season. I mean, I watched every game, win or lose. So, all the way to the end. I don't shut them off. So I'm just a masochist.
Like the pain.
Yeah. So for like the Titans game, like that really gave me a positive outlook for the season, because you could see the talent was definitely trying harder than you knew it was, like the level it was at. And you could tell that was from coaching right out the gate. So you kind of just could see the offense and see what was happening. I hated the defense. I hated the defense all year. People praise Wink Martindale, but hated the defense all year. But like the fact that Daboll was able to, keep that game as close as he was with the play calling that he made um, was excellent. And then to go for it to win the game at the end, I really think like that one move brought the whole team in for the entire
Yep.
season.
Did you see the
Like,
video of
there
when
was
Saquon and Shepard hugged Dable after that
Yes,
play?
correct.
Yeah, I mean the look on their face. I've never seen that look from those two guys with any other coach that they've had.
So I think just like the beginning of that, like really gave me a more positive outlook. We got out to a hot start. I mean, I was saying like, hey, this is a team that like when you looked at the schedule could probably cruise into the playoffs. It didn't end up being like that because it's just the Giants and that's how we do things. We want to lose to teams we should beat.
I just want to stop you there quickly. Like, I didn't think we'd beat the Ravens or the Packers, but I thought we were going to beat the Lions.
Correct.
I thought we'd beat the Lions,
Yeah,
and I thought we'd beat the Cowboys or the Eagles once. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm more saying like once we got to 6-2, like it looked like this was a team that could have 10, 11 wins.
Yep.
Looking at the remainder of the schedule, so I wasn't planning on those wins at all. But like once we got to like 6-2, it really seemed like a team that would just cruise to the playoffs. And the funny thing is we only ended up winning 3 more games. We had a rough patch. Remaining 9. So, So I mean, it was really tempering expectations. Once we started really struggling with like other teams, like the Lions, even the Texans played us close.
They did. That game was way closer than it should have been.
And then like with the Eagles games, like you just kind of always assume that those are going to be losses. Like the tie really fucking pissed me off.
Oh, that was probably my lowest moment of the year.
I was very pissed off at that tie. But like it's a positive outlook going forward. Like I'm on the side of that. Daniel Jones is probably not the guy as a franchise quarterback. Like he's a guy that you could probably keep like a Jimmy G. And as long as you built the team around him, he would be successful. And that's completely fine. Paying him $40 million a year, probably not something I would do. I would franchise him, but not exclusive franchise him. So if he wanted to stay, it would be at like around 30-something million dollars. I don't remember the exact
32.5
numbers that I saw on Twitter. Yeah. So I would probably franchise him, but I wouldn't make it exclusive. If somebody wanted to sign him and pay him $45 million, a la the Commanders or the Colts or somebody like that, then I'd probably just let him go. And, if I was Joe Shane, I'd probably just, get the rebuild started from that. I'd probably move on from Saquon. I'd probably completely blow it up if I was going to, have Daniel Jones be gone. But if you want to build on this team, it's going to be really tough to do so because there is so much turnover that needs to happen, whether it's defense, whether it's fixing parts of the offensive line, whether it's getting wide receivers. Because here's the deal, like if Daniel Jones is good, we're not just like a couple of wide receivers away.
No, we're not.
Defense is fucked. Like the defense is very bad. Third down,
horrible. They were always in the low 20s.
And
ranking.
I mean, they finished for third down efficiency. They finished like bottom 5 in the league.
Yep.
So couldn't get off the field when they needed to. They constantly let up touchdowns and very impactful game-losing plays on third down. So I think you need to figure out the defense. And I don't necessarily, especially when you don't have the talent, Wink Martindale blitzing every time is just not the answer. So like,
no, I agree.
My whole on the season is I think my whole outlook on like the entire season has really been like this team is a team that you obviously know the coaching is good enough to excel whatever talent that you have. And who knows, like maybe Daboll does turn Daniel Jones, they franchise him, and then you see another side of Daniel Jones next year, kind of like you did with Josh Allen. But let's all be realistic and know that Daniel Jones is not Josh Allen, not close to the talent level that he has. He's just not going to be that. So like he might improve, but it's like you're going to put a ceiling on it. So I'm not the guy that's like blowed up, but if we were to lose Daniel Jones and pick up a guy like in the interim while we blew things up like Baker Mayfield or even went with a Derek Carr or something that like while we're trying to figure out, I'd rather do something like that than shell out Daniel Jones $40 million a year. I'd rather blow everything up, get a journeyman quarterback, and just kind of figure out the rest of the team, so you weren't really hamstrung on paying a guy $30 to $40 million, which will let you improve the defense, which will let you improve the offensive line, which will let you improve the wide receiver pool. Big thing about the wide receivers as well. There's a lot of injuries, so it's really tough to look where that was. But I mean, ultimately, I think they had a bunch of guys where same receiver, just names, just different names. A lot of like intermediate, shorter throw wide receivers. You didn't really have anyone that was taking the top off the defense, period. Like you would get some big plays here and there, but there was no one that you didn't have three different kind of receivers. You didn't have a deep threat, possession receiver, and then like a slot guy. Like when it boiled down to the end of the season, you more ended up with three guys who did the same exact thing, which really limits your offense. So there's so many moving parts going forward to next season, but at least this season let me know that
we have the coach and the
coaching should not be an issue going forward. And even the GM made smart moves with like,
I thought his
instead
draft
of trying to go all in. Yeah. Well, it's not even the draft. Instead of going all in at the trade deadline,
he didn't.
And trying to get Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, he held it.
They didn't do that because they realized that this team is exactly what I've been saying this entire time, is that this team is not
like a wide receiver away.
Yeah, they're not ready to compete yet. Anything can happen, but the chances of them getting a wide receiver and that's what makes them compete.
Yeah, well,
it's just not what that. So I have trust in the two new hires. I feel like it's a way brighter future than we had even with Jerry Reese, who that guy was just terrible and got very lucky a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yes. The same thing with Gettleman. So I really think like GM has been figured out. I really think that guy's a bright mind in Joe Shane, and I think that Brian Dable is a player's coach and kind of like the coach we've needed for since Coughlin left. So I feel that going forward we could be in a good spot, but if we had to suck a couple of more years while we just build equity and build assets and just talent, I'd be okay with it. But it really did give me a bright outlook on the future going forward.
Yeah, and give Joe Shane give him his credit, because during his post-game or his postseason conference, he made the comment like, yeah, we want to keep these guys, but we have a walk-away price. And he also brought up that
Correct.
He also brought up that the talent gap between us and the Eagles and even the Cowboys, like if we're just being realistic, like there's a talent gap there, and we were close to be like, and we kept it competitive with the Cowboys, but the talent gap is the reason we're losing these games. And I'm the complete opposite of you in the sense that I'm a Daniel Jones stan, but I don't think we should pay him $40 million a year. Like, I'm not going to argue that, because I get where you're coming from, where Daniel Jones isn't Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, where you can pay him $50 million a year. And
he's not Eli Manning either.
Yeah,
like you can't afford to chunk your salary.
Yeah, I think if you want to give Daniel Jones a $40 million year deal, like a $40 million a year deal, like we need to see one more. We need to see one more season out of him. Like I think the franchise tag, and then okay, show us, because year 2 in a system, get a little more talent around him. Evan Neal improves. Andrew Thomas.
How do you afford that talent when you have like
you build no $4
million? I think it's the available cap we have.
You build through the draft.
40 of it into a quarterback.
But you build through the draft. I mean, look at the two teams going to the playoffs, or the Super Bowl. I mean, the Eagles obviously they've brought in more talent now as the year has gone on. But I mean, look at the Kansas City Chiefs. It's all built through the draft. They keep letting guys walk, and then they let other guys come up and play well. When you have good coaching, Dable and Shane should be able to, we let Julian Love walk, for example, because we don't want to pay him $10 million a year at the safety position. Dane Belton realistically should fill in that position. That is what drafting should do.
For sure, and I totally get that, but there's more additions that you need to make that need to be veteran players that aren't like across the offensive line. Like we have a very good guard, we have 2 good tackles that I do really enjoy.
Andrew Thomas, man,
but
I
like
gotta
the
get
center position and another guard is like a huge thing, and I'm not trusting. Like we don't have the pick to go get a dominant out of college going to be make a
I mean, pick
a
25.
huge,
Pick 25. You could get a guard or a center.
maybe a guard, yeah, but are you gonna find like a hugely impactful one at 25? Probably not. Not one that's gonna come in and be your solution.
I mean,
at guard.
if you look at the
Like,
Bills, though, they've built their offensive line through the draft. So I think Shane is better at acquiring
correct, and you
that.
can do that, but you have to. Those are teams with like the offensive line is the last thing to fix. It's not like those
yeah,
are teams that
well,
have
and
offensive line, wide receiver, defensive issues. Like,
and with Daniel Jones, let me just say this: like, if you sign like a 4-year deal, there needs to be an ability to get out of that deal after 2 years, which there usually is for most contracts. So, like, let's say I think my limit for Daniel Jones is $35 million. That's what, because just hear me out here. That's about average. That's in the middle of what quarterbacks are paid, and the salary cap went up about 15% this year. And
so you give him $70 million guaranteed.
yeah.
I don't know if I'd do that. I'd probably franchise him for like the 32, like I said. If
and so
he needs more than that, or if someone goes and says like, "Hey, we want him," I'll take the draft compensation.
yeah, and that's fair. And let's just quickly talk about so Saquon, the GM talked about trying to sign Saquon over this week, like him and his manager or his manager are like in conversations with each other. So I think the goal is get Saquon signed, and then depending on what Daniel Jones is looking for, go from there. If Daniel Jones comes in and says, "Hey, I want $32 million, I want the franchise tag for 4 years," I think that's a fair price. $32.5 million. I think that's more than fair, and especially with the cap going up, that there'll be space there. And also, too, if you sign Daniel Jones to a 4-year deal, you can space out that money in a way that we don't have to take a 1-year cap hit. You can pay him $25 million, and then $35 million, and then $40 million. But as the cap goes up, that percentage stays the same.
And I'm saying like, that's great in theory, but like, what happens if the Colts strike out?
In the
Like,
sense
if the Colts
of
strike out and they need a quarterback, they're willing to be as dumb as the Colts are
and pay
him
and then
$40 million.
And then Bert, I'm with you. That's not worth it. And just like Joe Shane said, there's a walkaway price. And I'm not gonna and I've always said in my podcast, top level, I just trust Shane right now. I think he did a good job with his draft. I think he did a good job with his signings during the season. So I'll ride with them.
I think my cutoff for Daniel Jones is the franchise tag.
32.5.
Yep. If he wants one penny more, if he wants 33, let's be real, that's fine. But if he wants anything significantly more than 32, you just
my
say,
cutoff.
"Hey man, it's been a nice run."
Yeah,
and you
good
go
luck.
Get Baker fucking Mayfield.
Yeah, I agree, and you and me agree too. I'm at 35. That's my cap. So we're $2 million off. So.
Which is huge. Like in the NFL, it's not like the NBA where it's like 2 million is like, oh, like that's not change. That's chump change.
No,
2
2
million
million
can get you a veteran, like a veteran player. Like,
Yeah, veteran guard.
Yeah, it could get you a veteran guard for
Yeah,
sure. So it's
fair.
like there's reasons why like the Daniel Jones situation just doesn't make sense for us going forward if we're looking to completely overhaul the roster and we think that there's a huge talent gap. That huge talent gap, between us and the Eagles, starts at quarterback. But
I don't know. I think
other
it,
places you have to fill in that.
But I don't think it starts at quarterback. I think it starts at the lines. Like the Eagles' offensive and defensive lines destroy us. Like, and I don't
for sure.
And the other thing too is the Giants aren't
Jalen
trying.
Hurts can make throws that Daniel Jones cannot.
Like I said, I want to see Daniel Jones one more year in this system. I think Daniel Jones was told to check down, get the interceptions down, get the fumbles down. And I think at the end of the year, they were letting him do a lot more than they were at the beginning of the year.
It went poorly.
Did it?
I mean, we lost games.
That was when,
yes.
But that's when we were trying to run Saquon, and it wasn't working.
We're running instead of leaning on the quarterback. Like, that's the problem.
Yeah, but then once we leaned on the quarterback, Daniel Jones owned the Colts, and then we benched him during the Eagles game, and then he owned the Vikings.
He owned the worst team in the league. Like,
I agree, but
I know it was like the Bears, but the Colts were literally the worst team.
No.
in the league
That's totally fair. But then once Jones goes up against a D line that's so much better than his offensive line, like what are you gonna do? Like I don't know what we're asking.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you there. But like, the big thing is that's like you're not going to find a Patrick Mahomes. That's not what I'm saying. I'm more saying is like a guy like Jalen Hurts is just going to be better at getting out of the pocket, and Daniel Jones' pocket awareness has been
better.
That's been a knock on him since his very first season,
first game.
Trash,
but it was better this year. I thought it was a lot better this year. There was a lot of plays I can remember him moving through the pocket and finding the open man.
But he will take off too early. He won't go through his progressions. Like he'll take off.
So does Jalen, though. So does Jalen.
That's not.
Jalen runs on the second read.
Yeah, but it's not. Daniel runs. Like runs.
Yeah, I guess.
Like Jalen will get out of the pocket, run to the side, bootleg. He will get out, and just because he's more athletic.
We'll have so many receipts, Bert, by the end of next season to be able to come back to each other.
Like feed them to me because it means the Giants are good.
Yeah,
like,
you are. No, you're hedging your bet well.
Like it doesn't hurt me at all. Like if Daniel Jones is good, then oh my gosh, good. We don't have to find a quarterback. Like we've got one locked up for, if like you said, $32.5 million. Like we have him locked up for 4 years. Cool, sick. Like that doesn't hurt me at all. The thing is that what will hurt me is that if I'm right.
Yeah.
Like if I'm right and he is not going to be the answer and we end up paying him that money, you've basically set the franchise back 4 years.
Yep.
Period.
Yeah, you have
2 years, but you're still going to eat dead money. Like you basically set the whole plan back 4 years. So it's like you are taking like a huge risk. It's like, okay, we can pay him, and yes, things could work out. We could have all the positive thoughts, but like if it doesn't work out, we are in
deep shit,
a world of hurt again.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
We're losing games to search for the top. So like, but like aside from Daniel Jones, like the Saquon thing is like if you're not, like, it's all dominoes, that if you're not going to pay Daniel Jones, you do not pay Saquon.
Yep, agree. Yeah.
You put all of the money into the rest of the team.
Yep.
You put that $54 million into wide receivers. You go get Baker Mayfield. You go get Derek Carr. You go get somebody that's going to be low cost, decent impact.
Yep.
To do that. And I before was like, go pry and find out, go kick the tires on Russell Wilson. It's not happening now because of Sean Payton.
Yeah.
But like Russell Wilson's a guy that I 1 billion% think that's, you don't just fall off a cliff.
No, I agree.
Nathaniel Hackett was so fucking bad. And then once he was out of there, they started scoring points. The offense looked good. Russell Wilson looked like he's the guy I would have kicked the tires on. I'd honestly, if I'm the Giants, like with Russell being out of the conversation because he's not going to go anywhere with Sean Payton just getting there, I'd go kick the fucking tires on Kyler Murray.
Really?
He's injured this year.
I like DJ. I like DJ better than Kyler. Kyler is not for the locker room, and they had to put a.
But you don't know that. Like, who's been the coach there? Cliff Kingsbury. Like, you don't.
Yeah, that's
you don't know what it looks like when
you're gonna have to give up situation. Though. You're gonna have to give up decent draft capital for Kyler, though.
Maybe. You gotta remember, they just got a new GM and a coach. The coach might be like, I don't fucking want this guy.
They still don't have a coach because no one wants to be with Kyler. That's like
Correct.
the report.
So the coach might get in there and be like, nah, I don't want Kyler as my quarterback. And I would trust Brian Daboll over.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. I agree. I agree.
Rein in a guy like Kyler Murray.
There's your kill shot, by the way. If you ever want to beat me in an argument, just be like, well, I just trust Brian Daboll, and I'll say yeah.
I mean, it's just and you don't know with the new coach coming in to Arizona.
Yeah, what they're gonna do.
He's gonna want to be Kyler to be his guy. So yeah, it might cost you that big contract that Kyler's got, but you might be able to snag him for like a second or 2 seconds or late first.
Yeah,
and Kyler's talent is 10 times of what Daniel Jones's is. It's just depending on the type of offense and the type of quarterback and the type of thing, like that you want for your system, I would say that he'd he honestly would probably be the person that I know would be able to be pride free, and the ceiling on Kyler Murray is very, 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 very high. So
he's just got to stay healthy, dude. He's just got to stay healthy. Every year he
sure,
plays
he's
well.
Only really gotten injured
the last 2 years.
This year.
No, the year before that he got injured right at the end of the season.
What happened to him? It couldn't have been super serious.
I mean, I don't think. I think they missed the playoffs and then. Oh no, 2 years ago.
Well, they missed the playoffs because Cliff Kingsbury fucking stinks.
He was bad.
Out loud. And their GM's the fucking worst.
But on that note, on Kyler, we should transition to this quarterback ranking here soon, because I think we're gonna be deep in the weeds with this, which I'm okay with. I'm looking forward. I think we're actually gonna agree. I think I
think we can get it out of the way with like immediately looking at S tier quarterbacks.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
I need to make sure that everyone's even on this list. They should be.
They should be.
I'm not seeing Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, he shouldn't even be in the list. He's just the best. I can't even argue it anymore. I would have argued like a couple months.
Where is this backup quarterbacks? No. Patrick Mahomes, am I crazy that he's just not on this list?
I'm not seeing him.
Well, shit.
It might be backups because I see Mitchell Trubisky there.
Yeah, you're right. I see Daniel Jones on there. It might be backups.
Come on now. No, but while you pull it up, I'll make a couple points. Like I said, I don't think we should overpay anyone. I don't think the Giants are a season away from a Super Bowl. I think
I got one. I got one.
There we go. So, 2024.
That one didn't have like Aaron Rodgers on it. Like what the? Who the fuck made that?
That was weird.
Bam. These should all be the guys now.
All right.
I think there's some S tier quarterbacks right at the gate.
I think there's only one S tier. I think Patrick Mahomes is the only S tier in my opinion.
That is not true at all. That is inaccurate.
All right, who else do you got in the S?
Hold on. We have to create his own special tier down here.
What's own special tier?
He goes right in there, because we won't be talking about him.
Who, DJ? Oh, Deshaun. Yeah.
Nope, we won't be saying his name. His name is Nasty Man, and the cheese stands alone.
I can't disagree with that.
The cheese stands alone.
The cheese stands alone. I like it.
So the other S tier quarterbacks, Josh Allen.
You think after this year?
For sure, and Joe Burrow. I think those are your 3 S tiers.
All right, fair enough. I'm not going to argue with that. Who's better in your opinion, Joe Burrow or Josh Allen? Because I put Burrow above Allen after this year. Allen seems like he's missing Dable.
Interchangeable. You can't look at this year. Like Josh Allen was hurt like pretty much all year. Like had a strained at UCL all year.
No, that's fair. I just think Burrow plays.
I really think give it another.
I think Josh Allen's a better athlete. I think Josh Allen's a better athlete, but I think Joe Burrow's better at quarterback.
I think they're just very similar. I think they're.
Oh, really? I think they're wildly different. Joe Burrow's a pocket passing general, and Josh Allen is half running back. Like the way,
but he plays in the pocket so well.
Josh Allen does. Josh Allen's pocket presence is so fucking sexy to me. I love it. But what I'm saying though is Burrow reminds me of Brady, and Josh Allen reminds me of Brett Favre. Like that's my best way.
So I think we can go. Aaron Rodgers is A. Honestly, I think.
Nope, not gonna let you do that one.
Lamar is.
Are we
Lamar
factoring?
Is about as close to.
Are we factoring? Are we factoring injury into this?
No.
Okay, all right, then yeah, Lamar.
Overall, Lamar's close to S. I'll put him A.
Here's the thing. This is the way I think about it. If I started a new NFL team and I got to pick anyone on my team, anyone, who would be my top quarterbacks? And this is the beginning of
these 4. In my opinion,
those
this
3.
guy won a fucking MVP. Like he's good. He's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. I think. Period. But I think he's A because I don't think he's quite at this level of the top 3. And I think it says more about the top 3 than it does for him. Because if these guys did not exist, he would be the best quarterback in the NFL, period.
Fair. Where are we putting Justin Herbert?
I believe Justin Herbert's A. He's got all the talent.
Yeah, he's down at the bottom. Yeah, I really am a fan of Herbert.
I think he's A. I think he's just the things that he does well are everything that you want a quarterback to do well. Like,
yeah.
He moves around on the quarterback.
Huge arm.
Or moves around in the pocket. He makes the correct reads. He's got all of the arm talent.
All of it. Him and Allen are, and Mahomes. I think Mahomes has underratedly a big arm. But
I think this one might be polarizing, but I think he's A
B.
too.
Or is that B? Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna put him at A, then I think DJ deserves B or A. Both of them, I think, had years where...
Do you have a better chance of getting pregnant than me putting Daniel Jones in A tier quarterback?
Daniel Jones is B.
He's C.
No, not after this year.
He's perfectly C. You need another year out of him to know whether he's going to be...
I'm going to make a deal with you. Hey,
D
this is the BertFerkins. This is the BertFerkins Snowstorm Studios list. If Hurts goes to A, Jones goes to B. That's my deal.
Then he's B. But this guy's an MVP.
Yeah, but he has the best offensive line in the league. He has.
Don't care. All of the throws are good.
Against with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, though. I mean, come on.
But he can make the throws downfield
And he's a great leader. I'm not going to argue. His personality's fucking amazing. Like he's a
better runner. He's faster. He's better, and he's better by a wide margin.
Who missed more games this year to injury, Jalen Hurts or Daniel Jones?
I mean, you can't factor that in.
You absolutely can. That's why Lamar can't be an S, because
Lamar's not an S because the other 3 are
because availability.
Literally a tier above him.
Like, availability is one of the most important parts of being an NFL quarterback.
I just don't think you can get Daniel Jones into B. I think the B's that you're going to be, like, once you start putting B's into...
Oh, is that Geno?
You can't judge a guy that's literally been...
But wait.
Like, this guy would have been S last year.
Okay, so then Geno's a C, because Geno's been a backup his whole career and had one good year.
I do agree that Geno's a C. 100%. It's even on this list. Geno's not on this list.
That's okay. Russell, I agree, is a B. I think he had a bad year, but I think...
But, like, you can't tell me that, like, this guy is the same as this guy. It's not. It's just not.
Well, this year,
one more year before he gets to here for me.
Fair enough, but
he's perfectly mid. He's not going to turn. He has historically turned the ball over at a historic level.
You know, this year he had the lowest turnover
but he did
ratio.
not this year. He looked all right. He only threw for like 3,000 yards, maybe.
Do you know how much he rushed for?
12 touchdowns. Like, he's very
15. But do you know
how 750 yards or something?
Do you know how many rushing? Do you know how many rushing touchdowns?
5, 6, I think.
7. It was third in the NFL.
7.
Quarterbacks.
Yeah, okay, so he had 7 touchdowns on the ground and like 12 passing touchdowns. So he had 19 touchdowns combined.
He had 22. It was 15 and 7.
15 and 7. I don't remember.
You're not gonna do my boy DJ like this, Bert. I'm not gonna let this happen.
I remember like the end season stats. So last time I looked, he was at like 12 with like 4 interceptions. He's cut down on the turnovers quite a bit, but like in a big game, he turned the fucking ball over twice. So
again, the only thing I'm gonna say is like the lines. I mean, yeah, the Bradbury pick was horrible. And I don't want to get into like we don't have to get into.
So let me ask you this: like, would you, the fact that you're waffling on paying this guy any sort of,
I said 35
amount of, yeah, but that's like the baseline for like a
middle a C quarterback. Yeah, I agree.
So I think like since you're waffling, like you have to leave him in C. I just don't think you can put him to B.
I guess the thing is the parameters. If we're doing,
if you're not even sure about what next year looks like.
Yeah, and if we're doing his full body of work, then he's absolutely a C. If we're doing from this year with,
if we're doing his full body of work, he's fucking D, friend. He is D.
Daniel
the last
Daniel
3 years
Daniel
got, like,
Jones, but Daniel Jones last year,
turnovers.
Daniel Jones last year when he got hurt, we couldn't win one game without him. That's how important he was to the team. And the year before that,
But look at like the turnovers, dude. There's like I want to say it's like 92 times he's turned the ball over his first 3 years.
With the statistically worst offensive line in the NFL.
For sure, but like you can't turn the ball over, and he struggled with fumbling coming out of college.
But once the line shored up, once we got a good coach in place, he led the league in the least amount of interceptions this year. No starting quarterback had less interceptions.
But he had like 3,000 yards. That's like nothing.
He had 30. But again, what about rushing?
For sure, but that's like, yes, you can. To me, if we're looking at his whole body of work, his rushing and his touchdowns is what gets him out of D. Like it's like staving off. Like we don't even know if they're going to keep this guy or not, or you could end up with the Commanders because we don't know if he's really what we saw last year, or he's what last year's is his ceiling.
And we don't know. We don't know. We don't know that. I think you and me differ on that. I think you think last year was a ceiling. I think last year was just the beginning. I think DJ will take huge leaps and strides next year.
So if I really think, like, I would put him in D.
All right, we'll do C. We'll do C.
Because you're in B, I will meet you at C because we don't even know if we want to pay this guy. Like, that's the biggest thing. We have a walkaway point for a quarterback that has to. You can't put him on the same tier with this guy.
Yeah, Trevor's a B. I agree. Trevor's a B. All right, let's keep moving.
I think he really should be A after the end of this year, but I need more.
Yeah. If we're gonna apply it to DJ, we need to apply it to Trevor.
Yeah, I need more to see if the Urban Meyer Trevor Lawrence is correct or the
poor Trevor.
So
Carson,
I think there's like
D,
lots
of D's.
Like we have Nasty Man, but we also need hell.
Yeah. There's some guys in here that. But let me list off a couple here that I'd put down the hill. So I think you got to put Carson down there. I think
Carson Wentz is definitely hell.
Drew Lock I see there. He's up.
Davis Mills.
Yeah. I think Goff is C, by the way. Goff had played pretty good last year. I think Goff has always been.
I'm actually going to. This is where we're not going to agree. I think he's B. Look at his numbers, dude. With not much talent around. He has all the talent. He's been a Super Bowl before. Like the guy is.
All right. I'll let you have it.
Dead to rights. And here's the deal. I agree with you, C, but I think like what you're expecting out of Daniel Jones next year is what Goff showed us this year. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he showed you that there's more ceiling to him than everyone thought. So I think that's why it pushes him to B. But I'm on board with you. Like
Goff is
C
good.
It's C with like a B, like possible. Which
C plus.
Really, I think he's like C plus. Like he's like close. So I think he needs to get the nod up into B.
79.4.
Just for a little bit of contrarian. I think Kyler's probably a C.
Yeah, C.
I think Matt Ryan's in hell.
No, D. Come on. If we're doing his full body of work,
he's so bad. Like he could not win a game for them this year.
But he was an MVP.
He's so
if
bad.
we're doing full body of work, though, we're doing full body of work.
We can't do that. Like we have to keep it within reason. Dude made a Super Bowl and an MVP, but like that was like 6-7 years ago.
Where are we putting Brady?
If we're going full body of work, he's an S, but he's not. He was C this year. He wasn't great. He wasn't.
Yep. Stafford was C, I think.
I think Stafford's D because he might be done.
I think he just had
and he was injured. Though. I will put him in C, but I really think he's probably D now because I don't know if he ever plays football again with that injury he got. Like
that's a tough one. What about Darnold? Darnold's D.
Darnold's about as close to hell as you can get, but the Panthers were actually decent at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I'll give him D, but he's definitely got hell tier allegations.
Give him Frank Reich, and you never know.
Correct. I think Jameis is D.
Yeah, D.
I think Mariota's D. I think Kirk Cousins is B.
He couldn't even beat the Giants' defense. Come on, you just shit on him.
Yeah, but their defense stunk, and we gave up like 24 points, right? 23 points. Yeah,
with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen.
He's proved to be.
Come on, if Goff is a B, I get Kurt at C. Come on. You got to work with me here.
I mean, but Kurt is literally like a lot of what carried them to this season. Like, he single-handedly beat the fucking Bills this year. Like, the rest
Justin
of the team
Jefferson did. Justin Jefferson made the best catch of the year. It
Yeah,
was a bad throw in double coverage. Justin Jefferson bailed his ass out.
Well, here's the deal. It's not a bad throw with Justin Jefferson.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
It's not a bad throw if he threw to, like, I'm trying to even think of who their other guy is. That guy's 17. I can never remember his name. He played pretty well, but that guy, if you throw it to that guy, that's a bad fucking throw. And yes, I agree. But you're throwing it up to Justin Jefferson to try to win the game. I will go C here, but I think it's crazy. I think he is.
What about?
Because here's the deal. He's C. Kirk Cousins is better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Is he? Jimmy
1,000%.
Jimmy G is as good as Goff. Both of them went to a Super Bowl and were one throw away from winning.
Goff is better because he can make the throws. Jimmy G just can't.
Jimmy G likes to throw up the middle to Kittle. That's what he likes to do.
But he doesn't. He's not.
I'm validating your point.
He doesn't really have any of the arm talent to make him a B quarterback.
When I look at a B quarterback, it's someone in my mind I would take over Daniel Jones. That's the way I'm looking at it.
I would take Kirk Cousins currently over Daniel Jones. I don't think.
Man, that one's.
I don't think, like, if we're looking at the future, probably not. I think Daniel Jones gets better, and
I think if
I'm hoping I'm wrong.
I think if you put Kirk,
but I think currently he's better.
But if you put Kirk in Daniel Jones's situation, Kirk wouldn't play as well as DJ. And I think if you put DJ on the Vikings with that line, that run game, and Justin Jefferson, I think we'd be.
Oh, I don't know.
I think we'd say DJ's better than Kirk.
I think it's the opposite.
No way.
I think if you put Kirk Cousins with Brian Dable, like, Kirk Cousins has a career year, much like Daniel Jones, and Kirk Cousins. There's
gonna be a lot of fighting on this podcast.
I think he's just a better arm talent.
No way.
Than Daniel Jones is.
Did you see that DJ?
And if not, they're very equal.
Yeah, I agree. They're probably both C's. I would argue they're both C's.
And here's, like, Kirk Cousins makes, while they might always not be the sexiest decisions, he makes the right decision.
Yeah, on 4th and 18, he checked down.
But you have to.
I know. I'm just Bert. I just knew it was gonna get you heated.
I'll leave him in C, but I think it's very wild that these two people are together.
Where are you putting Tannehill?
He's not D. He is good enough to get you to a Super Bowl if you have a good defense. Same here, but I think he's good enough to win you a Super Bowl.
I think Jimmy does better under pressure, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think that's the tough one. I think Dak's probably B.
C. I'd take DJ over Dak.
I think he stinks. Okay,
but we're not doing full body of work.
It's not even. I think this year really showed you, like, okay, when he's under pressure, he makes bad decisions, but
worse than DJ.
I think he's probably one tier above all of these guys. Not much.
Man.
And I fucking hate the Cowboys, dude. I want to see them have.
I'd rather take Kirk over. I'd take Kirk Cousins over Dak.
Which is funny because I think they're like a very similar level of quarterback.
If Jimmy didn't have an injury.
Obviously, Dak can run and has a lot more.
Not really, dude. He's lost a step, man. I don't know.
Yeah, he broke his.
Giants broke his ankle.
Yeah, he literally destroyed his whole ankle. So I'd probably give him a year before you're like decide on the explosiveness and whether he's lost a step, because he literally broke his ankle like a year ago. So
2 years.
I would be cool with doing that because I think that is honestly accurate.
I'll agree. Dak is. Let me put it like this: Dak is not better than Daniel Jones in my opinion. You can't convince me.
I think they're the same.
But Dak has been in such a better situation. The Cowboys have always had a good offensive line. They've always had good wide receivers. Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard in the backfield are way better than Saquon and whoever they've paired him with. If you put Dak on the Giants and DJ on the Cowboys, that would look very different. Yes, Drew Lock, I agree with.
The funny thing is I was gonna put him in like C or B and just pretend he was Geno Smith. But
Mac. Or no. Tannehill. Were you putting Tannehill in Carr? Because in my opinion, you can't. Here's the thing. I'm gonna. This is gonna be my final thing I say about this. When you look at Kirk, Tannehill, Carr, and Jimmy Garoppolo, we know what their ceiling is. I am still not convinced on what DJ's ceiling is, and that's why I'd rather DJ over them. That's my thing. You have such a body of work with different coaches, different players, different schemes with all these guys. DJ finally gets a good scheme and he plays halfway decent. That's my only point I'm going to make here.
I think my tier goes Derek Carr in that because you're very correct. Like Derek Carr, Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins, they're very similar quarterbacks. I think I go Derek Carr.
Yep.
I think he's the best out of them.
Naturally gifted.
Then it's Kirk Cousins. And I think you have Tannehill and Garoppolo in C.
If Garoppolo didn't get hurt as much, I think Garoppolo has a really good football mind.
I think he wins a Super. I think they've won a Super Bowl by now. Like the 49ers are that good, and Kyle Shanahan's that good that like
he literally missed the open throw. He just missed the one open throw in that game.
Doesn't really have to throw them much. So I'd probably put this is. I think he's C, but I think he's like
you got to put him in B. You got to put him in B if Cousins is up there.
I love Derek Carr, and I also just think he's not really had any consistency playing for the Raiders his entire fucking career, and I think it's very much ruined him.
Yeah, they've had the worst defense. They've had the worst defense the past 11 years he's been there. I want the
Giants to trade for him so fucking bad. It's ridiculous because I think
you just can't give up. You can't give up draft.
I think he needs a
capital.
coach. Yeah, I agree with that. I think if they only want like a second and a third round and you can pry them out for like cheap, like a third round pick, I think you would be good.
I think Carr is also making $40 million a year. Let's go to Tua though.
Correct.
Tua's a C.
Another B.
No,
B guy.
Come on, man. C. Bert, the only thing
he was literally an MVP candidate
because he has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, dude.
I get you there, but like
again,
those guys don't throw themselves the ball. Like
I don't. But all you have to do is throw to Tyreek in the flat, and you get 6. That's all you have to do.
He's better than Daniel Jones currently.
No way. He's not.
He just has his brain scrambled.
No, I think
he's
Daniel Jones.
Runner.
Nope. Daniel Jones is a better runner, better arm, and I think DJ makes better decisions. I think if you gave DJ Jalen Waddle,
an MVP candidate
because of
for like half the season.
Because Mike McDaniel's a hell of a coach. That defense was playing out of their brains.
I think he's a good coach, but
they also got Robert Quinn on the defense from the Bears.
Who's better of a coach, Brian Daboll or Mike McCarthy? Or
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel.
I'd say honestly, just like we've said a couple times here, I need to see one more season from both.
It's probably Daboll,
but it's hard to tell. It's probably Daboll. But Daniel Jones wasn't in the MVP conversation. Because Daniel Jones has none of the talent around him. They had the same exact record. They were both like 6-win, 7-win teams.
Yeah, I agree with that. But like the numbers, like if you put the numbers together, like Tua was making the throws, regardless of talent. Like, okay, so
yeah, but the throws are being caught.
You have Tua with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, but Daniel Jones has Saquon fucking Barkley.
Yeah, that's why that's why his passing. But that's why his passing yards are so low.
Pressure off of him.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
because the defense has to be like, they might run it.
Yeah,
Saquon Barkley.
And that's my point, Bert. That's why the passing yards, when you say it was 3,200 passing yards, it means nothing because you have Saquon Barkley. You're running the ball 10%, 20% more than most teams. But it also gives you the point.
But it also brings up the point of like, you don't have that, right? Like they literally brought in like 4 running backs from San Fran to
they had Raheem Mostert, they had Mitchell, they had Mitchell, they had a ton of good players. But I agree with that.
Which means they had to lean on Tua to throw the ball.
Exactly, but
got them to 7-2.
And
with him throwing the football.
I agree with that, but he's throwing to 2 of the top 5 receivers in the NFL, arguably.
The problem is we can't have everyone C because you don't think they're as good as Daniel Jones.
No, Bert. Honestly, this list
better than Daniel Jones.
No, this list I agree with, but Daniel Jones should be a B. Like I'd rather Daniel Jones over everyone I'm seeing in the C range. All the guys in the B range, I'd argue might be better than DJ, but DJ's as good as all those guys. And I think if you put any one of those guys, besides maybe Trevor Lawrence and Russell Wilson, I don't know about Russell Wilson though after this year. In the
If you put Russell Wilson in our system this year, we win the fucking Super Bowl.
I don't, maybe.
He's so good. Like, I lived in Idaho for a really long time, so it means I was berated by Seahawks fans and games. But Russell Wilson is that deal, and as corny as he is, and as cringe as
Broncos
he is,
Nation, let's ride.
Yeah,
but okay, I'm not gonna argue
deal.
that he's Super Bowl champion, but I just think DJ needs to be up in the B's. That's just to go and win a playoff game.
I just don't think you can put him in there because any of these guys up top, I would pay money to.
I would not pay money to Tua. I would not pay money to Goff. I would not pay money to Kurt.
I mean, if that's the case, I will put 2 in C because you're not sure if you're going to keep him or move on. But, like, talent-wise quarterback, he is better than Daniel Jones.
I don't think he has big his arm. I don't think he's as fast. He may be more accurate. Maybe he makes decisions quicker. But I think when it comes to, like, tangibles, I think
he's just a better all-around football player.
All right, I got him in the C. I got my point. Where are we putting Mac Attack?
This is where we're putting Justin Fields.
I just wouldn't pay. It's the same thing. I just my barometer
Justin Fields. Justin Fields is going to be Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, if he gets the right coach, I don't think Eberflus is.
I think they're fine. I think they're 100% fine right now. I think they're like resetting. You've got to remember about the Bears. They've been like trying to hang on to like mediocrity for a long time, and this is the first time they've gotten the first overall pick in like 60, 70 years.
And they're going to trade it. They're not going to get rid of Fields.
Which is good, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to get a shitload from the Colts. Yeah, I'm with you.
Correct. So, like, I think what's happening in Chicago currently and what Justin Fields showed me this year, like, holy fuck, that guy's good. Like,
naturally gifted.
But
he's also got to improve his accuracy, man. I mean, he missed a lot of open throws.
Like, he's Lamar Jackson. Like, he's not in Lamar Jackson's tier because he doesn't have any body of work really.
He also doesn't have the supporting cast. The Ravens always have a good defense. They've had a good offensive line. The run game has been good.
The talent, Justin Fields is like above any of these guys here, ceiling wise and talent wise. He's better than anyone we have listed in C. His running. His
legs are ridiculous, and he's not fast.
Which
he's
is
quick.
Huge because
he's quick.
It's why Lamar sits where he sits. Yeah. Like, if Lamar didn't have the legs he would be here because he's a great quarterback.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers should be an A after this year. Rodgers just throws slants.
He had a broken thumb all year. I don't like Rodgers as like a guy. He's like a piece of shit. But like,
I mean, he's been the MVP the past 2 years.
Yeah, he's been the MVP the past year, and then like he literally broke his thumb on his throwing hand. So I think like you have to take that into consideration. Zach Wilson's hell.
Yeah, rough. Mac is a D or a C.
Oh gosh, I think he's way worse than that. I think he's D. I do not think.
He's D. He's D. I mean,
I don't think he's good. He's an Alabama quarterback, and this is the only Alabama quarterback I've trusted in.
Well, I mean, what are you looking at?
Years.
What about Hurts up there in the A? Hurts was an Alabama quarterback.
Yeah, technically yes. Technically yes. He's Oklahoma to me, but technically yes. But like, if you do include those two guys, those are the first 2 Alabama quarterbacks I've ever trusted. Period. Ever. Like,
yeah, I agree.
All of them are terrible.
Well, because the team is stacked.
Well, yeah,
you go from a top 10 college team to a bottom 2 NFL team. But I think
no quarterback wants to play in a pro style offense like that. No. That runs the fucking ball like crazy. They don't want to be in a pro style offense like that because they're not going to get to showcase their arm talent for the draft. Like, they're just not, because they're not going to throw the ball like a.
No, I agree.
Rutgers. Rutgers is a team that like always puts out running backs because they run that pro style offense where they're like, all right, we're going to pass a little bit, we're going to run a little bit. But when you get like if you notice most like very high quarterback prospects go to like air it out colleges, like they know they're going to huck the fucking ball. because they're going to get the ability to showcase the talent. So Mac Jones, I'm probably putting in D,
yeah.
basically because his backup came in for him this year and played better than him.
Yeah, but when you give Mac a real offensive coordinator, I mean, he took a team to the playoffs last year. As a rookie,
it came out that like half the year Bill Belichick might have been calling the plays.
That's fair, but I just don't judge a guy when Joe Judge is whispering in your ear, because if I'm going to give Daniel Jones...
It was what's his tits?
Patricia.
Yeah, it's Patricia. Joe Judge, I think, was like, well, here's the deal on this. I'll take us on a short, tiny tangent. Do you know why those guys don't have titles? I don't mean like championships. I mean like job titles. Because the reason that they don't have job titles is because the Patriots, ever shady as they are, don't give them titles, because if you hire a guy since coaching contracts are guaranteed, if you hire a guy and give him a title like offensive coordinator, that diminishes the amount of the previous team has to pay for their contract. So they bring him in as like offensive analysts and shit like that, because it's not an actual job title. So you can pay them whatever you want, but it doesn't hurt the coach. So like they're basically double dipping on coaches. They could be paying Patricia $2 million a year, right? Mm-hmm. Pretty good salary, while he's still making like $6 million from the Lions, and they're not going to give him a title. They literally do that. So this is the first year. Like, I think the reason they're doing it is, I don't know if Bill O'Brien's on the hook for any more money. Yeah. So they've hired Bill O'Brien as the offensive coordinator, but I'm sure that the Belichick gang is still just going to be fucking around and stirring the pot. So I think Mac Jones could probably be a serviceable quarterback and maybe get to like a B tier quarterback. But I think like if I'm the Patriots, like I was really hoping Tom Brady didn't retire, because I was really probably hoping that he came back to
Patriots. So can I ask you a question? What's the difference between Mac and Tua? Like, take their body and work out of it if you look at them as just prospects. Because to me, they both don't have as good of legs as DJ. And then they both have similar arms. I think Mac probably can throw the ball deeper than Tua, actually. I mean, what gives... not taking body work out of this, obviously Tua was an MVP candidate. I'm not going to take that away from him. But, like, when you just look at them both, like...
Analysis. Mac, bad at quarterbacking. Tua, good at quarterbacking. That's probably as easy as the analysis I can give you.
Yeah, but both those guys thrived in the same system in Alabama. Both of them were top 20.
I mean, picks. Dude, you could thrive in that system.
I agree. I agree. But do you think if you put Mac on the Dolphins with those two wide receivers?
No. I think he's not good. I think he makes bad decisions. He doesn't go through his reads. He gets one read and goes. And that's why the offense was very simple for him. Like when they would actually open up.
Mac's not a runner though. Mac's not a runner.
He would exactly like. He's looking through it, so he's either hitting his first target or he's taking off. Like, he's not going to go through his progressions. And, like, I have seen enough, like, and I listen to enough, like, as a Celtics fan, I listen to enough Patriots
radio,
like, analysis. He's just,
I mean,
mentally, I don't think he's there. And I think you could build that, but.
My problem with Mac is his attitude on the field. But either way, we can keep moving here. I'm giving Tannehill a D.
I think he's the worst quarterback out of the list of these.
Yeah. We call him the Tannehills. That's what me and my brother call him. The Tannehills are Ryan Tannehill, Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff. They're all just...
Yeah, they're all in between that, like, 12 and 17.
You just can't figure out. They're...
And you can, like...
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think Derek Carr is probably the most talented out of any of them.
I agree, but you could say Kirk Cousins has had a better...
them between 12 and 17.
Yeah, because Kirk Cousins and
argue with you.
Kirk and Tannehill have had better careers. They've been in more playoff games. They've made it further.
And I'd probably put him down here to really sell this point home. It's like, Kirk is like right here. He's like literally on the line between them. But because he's won and he's proven that he can win,
you've
got to give him the nod over these guys. And like a lot of this, like this could happen, and this is probably what's going to happen. but he just you got to show it to me.
I agree. I agree. Here,
Like,
if
you got to show it to me, and
So
that's why I was putting like him up here, because like, okay, I've seen that you can win.
I mean, they've gone 12-5 2 years in a row. I'm not gonna.
I see that you can win, and you can.
But
make
the
good
difference-
decisions when you have time.
The thing is, some
Like,
quarterbacks win.
don't-
They win like in spite, or they. I don't know how to say this. Like Dak is.
I know what you mean. Like,
He's
Dak
holding
wins
his
in spite
of his.
does not win in spite despite
Yeah,
his team.
I think the Cowboys are a quarterback away from being like a Super Bowl contender. Like their defense is legit, their run game is legit, their wide receivers are legit. And if you could put Derek Carr on the Cowboys, Russell Wilson on the Cowboys, Trevor Lawrence on the Cowboys, I think I think that's a Super Bowl team. I think that is.
I think it's just because I don't know where Trevor Lawrence is. He's the only one I have pushback on.
Yeah.
But like, if you put Russell Wilson on the Cowboys,
Yeah, they're a Super Bowl
winning
team every
15
year.
games,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, they're a Super Bowl
going like
team every year.
15-2.
Yeah, and so, but then my thing is like Daniel Jones. I think he's elevating his team. I think Daniel Jones made Richie James better. I think Daniel Jones made Isaiah Hodgins better. I think Daniel Jones makes Darius Slayton better. Not Saquon. I'm not going to go there.
Coaching does that, because I really think that like they're the ones who are setting that play calling up to make those routes be easier for Daniel. And I don't necessarily think, like I said, I don't think he is a bad quarterback. I think he's probably got a better chance to improve and become a B tier quarterback. Like, he's never going to be S. And I think we can, unless something crazy changes, he's never going to be an S or an A. Unless you put, unless you put him up.
Yep.
Like it lets you put him in a good position where he's got the ability to show what he can do, like a Patrick Mahomes or a Joe Burrow or a Josh Allen. Like, unless you can give him the time to do that behind an offensive line, I think that Daniel Jones' like ceiling is B, and that's enough to win you a Super Bowl, because I think we can all agree like Eli's probably like a B tier quarterback.
Yeah, he had S tier moments, but B tier.
He had S tier moments, but like he was a B tier quarterback.
But I think we have our list here though, Bert. I think this is our final list.
I don't know who the fuck this is. Like, I know
that's Mitch Trubisky. He's
Mitch Trubisky.
He's in hell. Yeah, he was a starter for.
He's in D. I think he's in D.
I thought Kenny Pickett, who we're missing here, was probably C or D.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett's like.
We got to see more. It's the same thing as.
Yeah, he could be. He could be hell or he could be A.
Yeah,
like,
you just don't know.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good list. I think really that there's only, I mean, like Aaron, like our S tier, we'll go through our S tier again, because it's like obviously it's going to be audio listened to as well. So S tier is Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen.
Agree.
A tier, Aaron Rodgers. Well, we know he's getting older and he didn't look great last year, but like he's
MVP the year before. MVP.
Yeah, he's
the
an
year
MVP.
before.
He had a broken thumb, so I'm giving him absolutely the benefit of the doubt that that's not him declining. I think Lamar Jackson could probably be S, but for the sake of like figuring out what he's going to be doing,
he's too injury prone. That availability is important when you're looking at S tier.
I don't think he's injured anymore. I think he's sitting out because he does not want
Yeah,
to
but
play
the
for
year
the
before
Ravens.
he was injured.
Justin Herbert has the ability to be S.
He
for
does.
sure.
He's
Same
a
with-
Kellen Moore away from it.
Yeah, same with Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts has the ability to be an S tier quarterback.
I think Jalen Hurts benefits from an amazing team, but I think he's A or B.
I think he like
I
his
think-
potential to become an S is what keeps him an A currently. He's literally going to be the MVP, like the runner-up to MVP. Like, you have to give him some.
Yeah,
sort
but
of
again, he
shine
got
for that.
injured. He got injured. I mean, it's like you can't do
I mean,
that.
for like, yeah, but I mean, it's football. People are going to.
I agree.
Not
I agree.
everyone's
But
Eli
the
Manning.
reason Patrick Mahomes is S tier to me is because he literally he gets a high ankle sprain and misses 2 series.
Yeah, but like, not everyone is going to be
Just
Eli Manning for the career. People are
one
going
man's
to get
opinion.
injured.
We can keep going here though. Keep reading.
Russell Wilson is B. I can't drop him any lower than that. He's probably still A. but you just have to factor in like what happened this year, and you just do not know. Trevor Lawrence has all the potential in the world, so he's B. Jared Goff is like that C tier quarterback who actually like showed he could be.
He hit his
He could
ceiling
be
though.
A.
He won't be. I don't think so. I think he'll always be B. But
Yeah, but I mean, is like he showed like you get the right people behind him, he could be something.
yeah,
Justin Fields, I think, has the most potential out of anyone in this list, not named Trevor Lawrence.
yep, I agree.
I think he's just
those
got so
two
much
guys,
potential.
yeah, ceilings are super high on those two guys.
I love Derek Carr. Like it's to the point where like he just needs a new situation. He's going to get the ability to do that. I just really hope he doesn't end up in like Washington, or I believe he's going to be on the Colts. I believe he becomes a Colt, but he's probably got the most potential of like a mid-tier quarterback. Period. Kirk Cousins just consistently wins, so he's in B. C tier is Daniel Jones, even much to Will's chagrin.
We don't have to talk about it anymore. We burned that. We
he's in
burned
C
that light.
because he could go either way.
He could be
stay in
D.
C
He
or
could be B.
become B.
Yep.
And he could get all the way up to A. Like he's just got. You don't know.
I think where we disagree
put him any higher
is
yeah,
his
I
ceiling.
can't put him any higher because we don't know if he's even going to be a Giant or if you want to pay him, right?
Yeah.
Kyler is injured. Kyler should probably be B, but he's had injuries. We don't know what a new coach is going to do. And Tom Brady's fucking retired, but he's probably the greatest quarterback of all time. So we kind of just have to put him in C, even though he wasn't that good this year.
No.
Matt Stafford is in C. I don't know how. He might be retired too. We don't know. Jimmy Garoppolo, you can get him to a Super Bowl. He can get you to a Super Bowl, but probably not win it.
Yep.
Dak C because kind of the same thing with like Jimmy.
He's
gonna get you.
His team wins in spite of him. You put him on the Patriots, he's
think,
just as bad as Mac.
I think he makes bad decisions. Period. End of story. When he's under pressure, and that's a huge knock. Tua, I'd probably put in B, but I C because just we don't know yet. Same kind of with Daniel Jones. D tier is pretty easy. Even though I would love to have like Jameis have his own tier, which is called Electric Factory. I'm just doing that. He's just getting his own tier between C and D called Electric Factory, because he is just an absolute electric factory. You don't know if it's going to be the cringiest thing. He could throw 30 interceptions. You just don't know where you're getting
5,000 yards, but
I will tell you this: what you're going to get out of him is fun.
Oh yeah, it's a blast.
So I'd probably put Electric Factory between C and D.
Yeah.
You need to go.
Yeah, we need to get the C's up one more.
There we go.
There we go.
The Electric Factory is just Jameis Winston. I'm really upset about Marcus Mariota. We didn't touch on that, but man, I thought he was gonna be so good coming out of college. He probably could have been if he just.
He got
very
him and
shitty
Jameis
situation.
both did. It's what sucks about being drafted top 10. It's why Mahomes, I think, almost benefited being drafted 12th overall to a team that made the playoffs and traded up for him. I mean, that's the dream situation. And Mariota and Jameis too, both of those guys super talented, but I liked Mariota a little better. Yeah.
Then Drew Lock. You're
Rough.
just in hell, buddy.
Yeah.
Mac Jones, he just has potential, but he's probably gonna have the potential to be bad. Tannehill's like the ass end of the Tannehills of what Will calls them. Mitch Trubisky has proved he can get you to the playoffs.
He did with the Bears. I felt like they gave up
Exactly.
on him really quick. I felt like
He's
Matt
like a
Nagy.
double doink away from winning a playoff game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Eagles.
And then hell's just Carson Wentz,
Rough.
Davis Mills, which I really am upset about. I really wish he had like turned out better. Also, could be coaching. You just don't know.
And also the team around him. I think if you put Davis Mills up on the Cowboys, he could be just as good as Dak. I know it's a bold statement, but
No, I think he's just as good as like Cooper Rush.
yeah. Well, look what Cooper Rush did. They went 3-0.
Yeah, but like, there's no tape on him. Like,
Yeah, that's fair, but I'm just saying.
just Nick Foles. Matt Ryan's just in hell because he's just at the end of his fucking career, man. Like, He should have retired like 2 fucking years ago.
He should have.
Just did not. And then Zach Wilson's just one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen.
Crazy.
I don't know how he got picked second. I don't know. And then you have Nasty Man. The cheese stands alone. And his own little personal hellscape. But yeah, dude, there's
the list.
Like it's got like some pretty cool debates going for quarterback wise.
I think it was good.
And I think like with the Aaron Rodgers stuff, like you could probably, if I knew that Aaron Rodgers was just injured last year and that's the only thing, he'd probably be an S. Like he would probably, that S list would probably be 5 guys. But I think just because Aaron Rodgers, you don't know.
Also, his personality and his leadership are absolute horseshit.
He's a shit guy. Like
that's why he's not. But that's why he's not S, because he doesn't have that leadership.
Yeah, he's like a giant piece of shit. But like,
he's so freaking
I'm not
talented.
factoring that in. Nasty Man gets his own because he is fucking nasty. But with Aaron, I'm not really factoring.
I factor that in. I do.
Most of these guys are probably bootstraps to begin with, and very MAGA. So you really can't. You got to take some of that out of that. You know what I mean?
No, all I'm saying is like their ability to be a team leader, because I think a quarterback. I think
all the whites on here are probably very bootstrappy. So I really just think like this list, like I would love to see all of the changes that you think are going to happen to it, because that means the Giants would be good.
Yeah, right. Come on.
But like if I'm gonna do anything in us podcasting together, it is going to be grabbing your feet from making sure that you don't float away, because I need to keep you grounded in reality that like we can be as big of a honk as we want, but
all I'm gonna say is I just think DJ's ceiling is much higher than people give him credit for, and I think a second year in a system with more talent around him is unbelievably beneficial. When you put Tua at that level as Matt Stafford and Tom Brady, I think Tua has been has had such the benefit of people around him. Like I think Dak has had the benefit of people around him. When you give that to DJ with a good coach, I just have a lot of faith in that. But like I said before, I'm not going to pay $40 million for him. My cap is 35, maybe 36, and that's it.
Like the thing with Daniel Jones is like I will say this: next year, if I am right, I will not be tap dancing on your grave, because I will be very sad.
Yeah, that's okay. You can also. I mean, I've had to eat crow both ways on this one, and it is what it is. But I like the list. I gotta go get some dinner here. But it was a blast having you on, and I think it's fair to say, you know, me and Bert we have something in the works right now. So if you guys enjoyed this, I'm looking forward to it.
We need to do some basketball talk.
I just don't follow it. I gotta start watching it more. If you saw,
follow things on Twitter. I watch a lot of basketball. Like I'm guilty of probably watching about 500 basketball games a year. Like I do watch it a lot, but like in creating content for sports, like I know it sucks to like look at box scores and look at like advanced stats and stuff to like make your decisions, but like if you can just, especially football season's out, like
I know
you're able to throw a game in here and there and just keep up with it on Twitter, you should just be able to talk basketball. Like I do it with soccer. I don't really know shit about soccer.
All right, well let's do this. We'll make a compromise. We'll do basketball and football to start.
For sure.
All right.
I think you could just this could go other places than
football. Just
sports as well. So like down to just have fun doing
shoot the shit. Well, either way, I let me get us back. There we go. I'm gonna close out the stream, or I'm gonna close out the podcast first. So for everyone listening on Spotify or YouTube, guys, all of Bert's links are in the chat. So please go give him a sub for me. And like I said, we're working on something. It may be totally different than what this is, but we'll be working on this. So huge shout out to Bert. Good, healthy debate. It's always fun to do. And we'll catch you all on the next one. Peace out.